All right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, Target Management. I want you guys to understand, look at the key thing that they've been doing, engaging in for the past couple of days. All right. All right, these are the kind of corrosive psychological threat. Of course, I haven't seen her in a few days. The dike. Look at the dude over there. Look. He's looking at the dike, and then looking down at his shoes. He's looking at the dike and looking down at his shoes. Man, these people are just a bunch of idiots. All right? These people are a bunch of idiots. Listen, I'm going to tell you, young black men, do not be loyal to women that are not loyal to you, or men in general. All right? Because what they will do is that they will use women. They will use your emotions. Right? They will manipulate you because they have invested a lot in women, because women are, like I said, a $20 trillion consumer class. And unlike men, they're not invested in men because men don't buy the majority of consumer products. Women do. Right? And because our lack of understanding, our simple-minded self, and I say simple-minded self meaning that we don't look beyond certain things, right? Come on. We only see what they want us to see. We don't look beyond it, right? We don't see the agenda that's taking place. Very few of us do, right? There's only 5% of the population that actually know, in terms of in the U.S., in terms of what's going on here. Give me a jack. All right, that actually know and understand what is happening, right? So when I talk about the transhumanist agenda, you hear the sirens in the background? That's right, the transhumanist agenda. These people are the billionaire class, and they're well vested in shaping society how they want to shape society. And it isn't for the benefit. It isn't for the society's benefit. It's for their benefit, right? It is for their benefits. And again, let's look at this from a logical standpoint. Why are they so heavily invested in AI? Why are they so heavily invested in, within the next 10 years, of replacing a huge portion of workers? Why are they so invested in that? Is it for society's benefit? Is this for we as human beings benefit? No, it is for their benefit. Because guess what? They don't got to pay robots hourly wages. They don't got to pay robots sick leave. They don't got to pay robots maternity leaves, right? They don't got to pay robots overtime. They don't got to pay, give robots lunchtime, right? So these things, again, we tend not to look at. We tend to overlook because our simple-mindedness, right? Our stupidity, right? And again, I can't really blame society, right? Because, we are dealing with an entity. What are you looking at? He says, you're going to come over here, stand up over here by this gray vehicle right here? That's what you're doing? Yeah, because you got on all gray. All right? But, like I said, Nigerians will feel a certain way because, they got a nice car. They do that, so all of a sudden they feel they're better than you because you don't have a car. You have a car. Listen, I had a car. All right? It never made me feel better than a person that didn't have a car. All right? I had a good job. It didn't make me feel better than people who didn't have the same kind of job that I had. Right? Because that was not who I am. You see, like I said, they know who to target within the society. Which group of people, whether you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic. But understand this, in America, particularly in America, right, their goal is to specifically keep black people at the bottom, okay? That black people in America will always be at the bottom. They're going to replace us politically, right? They're going to replace us in terms of population size, okay? But what they're not going to do is replace particularly black women in terms of their spending power, okay? They're not invested in conditioning Hispanic women and white women to spend as much as black women per population numbers, right? When you look at black women, the population of black women in the United States, to what they spend on luxury items, they spend the most. They spend the most. So go look at the numbers, right? And ask yourself, how is it that a small population of women, right, have been conditioned to, hold up, let's see, is there a bus coming? Come, let's walk this way. Is there a bus coming? Careful. Don't look, I'm looking. Hey, careful, all right? You gotta look at the light, okay? Don't just drive into the street like that. You wanna walk?
Yeah, I want one.
Hey, where you going? Where are you going? Don't come into the street. All right, come on. Come on, walk up this way. We'll walk. I don't see a bus coming. It's funny, right? There's always a bus here, a bus coming, but not today though. You know why? They were trying to manipulate her mind into not going to jiu-jitsu. Like I said, they don't want us and our children to be able to defend ourselves, right? And we have adopted this docile mindset, right? Except for when it comes to each other, right? But we have adopted this docile mindset when it comes to other people abusing us and manipulating us, except for each other. We love to fight against each other though, but we don't love to fight against the white racists that are moving into our community to displace us, right? We're not fighting against the white racists that are moving into our community for what? For political reasons, right? We're not fighting against them, but we're fighting against black people. We're fighting against other black people who are trying to wake us up, right? And here's the thing too, the white supremacists are smart. They got billions of dollars behind them, right? Learning and developing ways to manipulate us. See, black people feel justified in doing what they're doing, right? But when the realities hit them in the face like a ton of brick, like a Mack truck, right? The people who are going to be doing it to them are going to feel justified, because they say, look at what they're doing to each other. Look at what they're doing to this man, to this woman, right? The very own people doing that to them. So they're going to feel justified. See, when I say we don't think because we can't think. We rather believe. Look. All right, so what they'll do, LGK 3234. Look. Oh yeah, I'm taking her to jiu-jitsu. Like I said, they were manipulating her mind to send me subliminal messages of not taking her to jiu-jitsu, because she was like, can we just stay home? I said, no, we're going. I said, nope, we are going. So we're walking up there because, no bus is coming, right? And I wanted to leave, by 4:40, but, she had to find her socks and all this stuff. Same thing with my son. We get him in the morning, I'll be on him because, again, he moves very, very slow. And so if I'm not on his tail, reminding him, he'll get to school late all the time. That's why I do what I do. But his mother hates it though. She's like, why don't you just leave him alone and stop be riding him? But yet he's late for school. When I call, I say, how come he's late for school? Oh, because you know how Ethan is. He moves so slow, or what have you. So she would rather him be late, right? Look, in the grave SUV doing the hand signal. I see you, buddy. I turn the phone and they stop. Yeah, that's to tell you how criminal they are. Right? Of course, no license plate in the front. When I talk about how they're very slick and very calculated in the things that they do, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like I said, there are certain groups of people who don't want our children competing with them. Their parents didn't want, and I should say their parents' didn't want us as young black children when we were growing up to compete with them, right? It is a cycle of abuse and manipulation that they've done generation after generation, and they train their next generation of children to act the same way and exhibit the same behavior towards us. Right? But we are, like I said, we are too simple-minded. All right? Too simple-minded, because we cannot see the overall agenda, right? Because religion has got us too occupied. right? Religious gods who occupied and using us against each other, creating wars within each other, right? Manipulating us against each other. Okay? That's the danger of religion and religious cults. And that's the danger of Negropeans. And as a black man, I know Negropeans are my enemy. They are the enemy of black people. They are the enemy of a black man, a black woman who understand their African self. Right? So yeah, I know who I'm dealing with. And the white supremacists will use Negropeans because they have a white supremacist mindset. Right? Again, go and read Franz Phantom. Black skin, white mask. You know what I'm saying? You know, we would rather buy all these different books from white racists. You know, I remember in the 1990s, buying the book, buying Dianetics and Scientology. Two books that was critically acclaimed, right? L. Ron Hubbard, Church of Scientology. That was before I knew about L. Ron Hubbard, about how the South African government hired him to create a psychological program to do what? To subdue the minds of black South Africans. So he created Scientology, created Dianetics, right? And yet now black people want to be in Scientology, talking about L. Ron Hubbard as if he's some savior. But that's what they do. They get us to worship those amongst them who've killed our people, who've manipulated our people on a large scale. You know, people like Cecil Rhodes, right? Black people are so proud of their children, calling their children Rhodes Scholars. Alyssa? Right? So we're very simple-minded. And again, they're gonna hear me say this and like, oh, you calling us stupid, whatever. Listen, it's not your fault as black people. It's not our fault. Right? I'm just a person who knows. Right, look, they're mad, look, they're mad. They're mad. Because they can't deter me from, exposing their shit. Right? They can't deter me. So they're mad. They can't manipulate me, they can't control me. So they're mad. They're mad, look at them. Look, I tell you, watch how they grabbing their clothes, right? Because that's what they do. So they're mad, doing the middle finger, looking down. Right? They're mad. They don't want me to take my daughter to jiu-jitsu because they want to be able to let their kids bully her. Hell fucking no. She's gonna be busting their ass. She's gonna be busting their ass and I'm gonna be very proud of her. Okay? Again, she's not gonna attack them. Jiu-jitsu is self-defense. Alright? So, the fact that their children is going to feel like I know that they cannot continue to bully her and mess with her, so they're upset. They are upset. Right? They are upset. They are mad. Whew, nah, I'm definitely taking the bus back. Definitely not walking back. But this is what they do. So what they're doing is timing me, right? To see how long it takes me to walk to the school. All right. That's why I have a cane. If I don't have this cane, there's no way I could be making it here. Oh, I got a cigarette thing now. Look, cigarette, lighting a cigarette. Look, see? That's what I'm talking about. So what they do, using silent sound to manipulate my daughter's mind into not wanting to go. Saying, I can't reach stay home. I said, nope. Because I know that's not her. They hijack her mind. And when they put their perps along the way to see if I'm actually taking her, and again, the delaying of the bus, holding the bus up, so that, to try to deter, make me late, which is fine. We're here though. The next time we're gonna be leaving earlier. All right, to make sure that we get here on time. See, they know that, like I said, leave the house around 4:40, get here on time. So what do? They hold up the bus. There's always been a bus or two when we get to the bus stop. And they'll say, coincidence. No, it's not coincidence, perpetrated. All right? Anyhow, we're here. Talk to you guys in this video.